Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is another geography type reaction, and this one is the top 10 best states to live in America for 2020. And I don't know, I just saw this video pop up and I thought it could be fun to do. It's from a channel that I'm not familiar with, but I saw through their, I saw a few, I saw through a few of their videos. That's the one, and I saw like they do a lot of videos involving like US and like US states and stuff, and I thought it could be a fun maybe channel to get into more. But I don't know, maybe people won't enjoy this reaction. But and I know this is kind of down to opinions, maybe a bit of like stats of opinions kind of thing. And I don't know how it's going to gauge this. Is he going to gauge this by sort of like the safest states or like the states where the pollution's the best or the worst? No, the pollution's the best because that'd be the best place to live. Or just like, yeah, all these different environmental kind of things that sort of benefit you. Maybe like it's a state that's quite quiet and like you live in the mountains, you live with the nature. Or it's a state that has the safest laws. I don't really know what it's going to be based on, but I'm excited to get into it. And I mean, again, if you want to see more from the channel, let me know. And I'm not even going to ramble too much. Let's get into this one. Quick shout out to my Instagram, my Twitter, links in the description for those, because there's a lot of you who like try messaging me things, and it's just nice to sort of talk to people from the US or Korea or wherever you're from, because I get people from all around the world message me about the reactions I do and the reactions you want me to do in future, and just sort of talking to me about like the difference in cultures and these kinds of things really. But yeah, so if you're interested in them like talking to me through those socials, links in the description for those. It's hard because there's a lot of people who message me, but I do try and sort of talk to as many people as possible. But I get a lot of messages, honestly. Same for my second channel as well. Links are there for those interested because there's a lot more sort of varied reactions on the second channel. But let's get into this one. Let's check this one out, man. I'm interested in seeing which states are on here. And again, I know this is opinion. This isn't fact, but it's still interesting to see sort of people's opinions in this.
Have you thought about moving? Because if so, I don't blame you. Considering
sounds
the
so
current
sarcastic.
state of the United States, you might think every town, city, and state in this country just plain stinks right now. But actually, that isn't the case. Whether you've lost your job and can't afford the rent, or just need a change of scenery, you're not alone. Over 31 million Americans moved last year, and if you're already planning on moving, why
31 million. The population's like 330 million, isn't it? So that's like, what, nearly 1/10 of the population moving? That's
not
crazy.
go big and try out an entirely new state. Now, I've already made a video on the best states to live in for 2019, so check that out if you haven't already. But before 2020 started stinking, a ton of states were actually thriving and improved dramatically from the year before. As such, quite a few newcomers are making the list this year, which I determined based on each state's economy, safety, cost of living, schools, and quality of life, among other things. And just a reminder, if your state didn't make the cut, it doesn't mean it sucks. Well, unless it made the top 10 worst states, in which case, it's never too late to
relocate. I'm guessing that's quite a controversial on the worst states. I don't know if I should see that or not. If you would want me to, let me know. But I feel like that would be a lot more of a controversial type video.
relocate. Anyways, these are the 10 best states to live in for 2020. Number 10. Actually, we're going to start off with a quick honorable mention. Texas. While it didn't quite make the list this year, I really wanted to include the Lone Star State because it's headed in the right direction and has so many amazing cities with rapidly growing populations and economy.
Texas is it is just a country within itself, man. Big cities there. There's so many different cities there. The sort of cultures and all these different things. It just seems like to me Texas is just the place where you can just do so many different things. Like there's just so many different options. Like I know it gets like, I didn't know this before. I know this is irrelevant, but it actually gets really cold in parts of Texas when it's winter. I used to always think Texas was just a state that's hot all year round, so that kind of surprised me. But that's actually quite irrelevant. I just thought that was quite interesting.
The Austin, Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan areas have all grown by over 20% since 2010, and for good reason. Texas had the fastest growing economy of any state in 2019, with an annual GDP growth rate of 4.4% and over 330,000 new jobs created. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that this is the best state for business, particularly due to there being no state income tax, extremely low corporate taxes ranging from 0 to 1%, friendly.
So what does no? I saw this in a previous video. What does no state income tax? No income tax. This like what is? Does this just mean so with many states force high earners to pay high taxes. States without personal income tax do not tax their earnings at all. This allows high earners to save as much more money. Texas, you know what? I might have to move. I'm not even going to lie. No income tax. Some of the most popular countries that offer. I know Monaco doesn't. Bermuda doesn't, which is crazy. The Bahamas, Andorra. Oh my days. I need to move to Texas, man. No income tax. I didn't know that was a thing in like US states. So like how do they get their money then? Like I don't really know how else they'd get their money to like for the state, like to build certain buildings. So that's how a lot of like countries get their money through like paying or through people paying their taxes. But that's crazy to me, honestly, and it seems to work because it's one of the wealthiest states, and I don't know, but that's just crazy to me. Texas, here we come,
regulators, man. And an affordable cost of living with a median home price of just $207,000, which
$207,000 for a home in the UK. You have to pay like, and that's dollars. So in pounds, that's like 150 pounds in the UK. You have to pay like £200 for a flat at least, and that's just for a regular flat, not like maybe like a 2-bedroom flat. Actually, like 220, 230 for a nice flat, but like only 2-bedroom and stuff. Bro, I need to come to tech. That's like nearly like $300,000 in the U. Bro,
which is why so many huge companies, particularly California tech companies, have moved here in recent years. But it's not all work and no play. There's great food, friendly residents, beautiful nature, and so much fun to be had in each of the hip cities and.
Why does this make me want to move to Texas? We'll see in the future, right? We'll see in the future.
So what's keeping Texas out of the actual top 10? Well, it ranks among the bottom 5 states in healthcare coverage. There's
okay, here we go to the wrong things.
Above average crime, and the schools are mediocre at best. Not to mention, the summers here are extremely hot.
That's true, actually, and I can't handle hot weather. Maybe we'll have to hold back on the Texas for now, but maybe in 10 years' time.
Actual number 10, North Carolina. Another one of the fastest growing states with multiple booming cities that are among the best to live in this nation. North Carolina will probably be a top 5 state by the end of the decade. But currently, the rural parts are really holding it back with tons of crime, poor education, and a mediocre healthcare system. Let's skip over that for now, though, and get to the stunning nature. From the beautiful Blue Ridge and Great Smoky Mountains in the west to the gorgeous Outer Banks and Emerald Isle in the east, with serene forests, rivers, and waterfalls sprinkled everywhere in between, this is honestly one of the most beautiful states in America. And similar to Texas, the economy here was booming before the great doom of 2020, with amazing job opportunities in the cities, especially the Raleigh-Durham area, where the median household income is over $75,000. And while wages still aren't the best across the state, they have increased by 4.7% over the past year, and it's pretty cheap to live here with a median home value of just $204,000.
The median is like, that's the average, isn't it? I should know this from maths. I'm not gonna lie, because median, mean, and all that kind of stuff. I swear, median income. Let's just search median meaning. It's like in the middle, like the average, right? Median is in the middle number. Yeah. It's like the highest and the lowest, isn't it? That's crazy. What was it? $70,000. Bro, that's wild.
Whether you want the arts and culture of Asheville, the big city life of Charlotte, or just an all-around amazing place to raise a family in Raleigh, the quality of life here is incredible. And while the K-12 public schools aren't the best, at least the state kind of makes up for it with some excellent universities like Duke, UNC, and Wake Forest. Number 9. Iowa. Iowa? Isn't that state like super boring? How the heck did it make this list? Yes, there are a lot of corn and soy farms here, but aside from that, Iowa isn't as boring as you might think. In fact, it's one of the best places to live in practically every statistical category. First of all, it's the most affordable state in America, and the economy is growing fast. Just last year, wages increased by 5% for a median household income of nearly $69,000, which would already be great for most most states,
And it's
but it's
increasing.
especially amazing in Iowa since the cost of living is so low with a median home price of just $154,000. Now, to be
What?
fair, there is a disparaging gap between the rural and urban economies, which is the main reason the Hawkeye State isn't higher on this list. That being said, there are so many amazing cities here. Seriously, like 15 to 20 different Iowan cities could easily make a top 10 best cities to live in list based solely on statistics. Sure, it might not be the most exciting life, but with top-notch schools, low crime, extremely friendly residents, and some of the most charming small cities and towns in the US, Iowa is one of the best places to settle down and raise a family. Number 8, Idaho.
I'm 19, man. I shouldn't even be thinking about raising a family, but this is making me want to move. Yeah, 20 years down the line, we'll see, right? We'll see. But this is like sort of a thing you'd watch if you're wanting to move to like a certain state. For me, I'm just trying to learn, but this is actually making me want to sort of move
People have
somewhat.
confused Idaho with
Or at least
Iowa
visit.
ever since it first became a state way back in 1890. But that's not going to be the case much longer, considering this is the fastest growing state in the nation. Why are so many people flocking to this place
really?
most Americans probably couldn't even locate on a map, you may wonder? Well, because people are finally finding out what a gem the gem state really is. Of course, there's the capital, Boise, which is one of the absolute best cities of any size to live in, and Idaho's also one of the safest states with an insanely high quality of life. But the best part about living here is all the beautiful, untouched wilderness. Don't tell anyone I told you, but the Sawtooth Mountains are honestly the best kept secret in this country. And there are so many other diverse environments, from Lake Pend Oreille and Coeur d'Alene to the otherworldly craters of the moon and Snake River canyons. In fact, the Gem State actually has more land dedicated to national forests than any other state. Aside from these incredible natural wonders, though, Idaho also had the 6th fastest growing economy in 2019 and the 3rd highest job growth rate at 2.8%. And although the median household income of $60,000 a year is still slightly below the US average, wages are growing insanely fast and went up by nearly 6% just this past year. It might not be as cheap as it used to be with all the Californians moving here, but Idaho is still really affordable compared to its other West Coast neighbors.
What did he say?
At least 6% just this past year. It might not be as cheap as it used to be with all the Californians moving here, but Idaho is still
Why do Californians make it more expensive?
really affordable compared to its other
What does he
West
mean
Coast
by that?
neighbors, and definitely worth the median home price of $295,000. Number
That's a lot
7,
higher.
Vermont. If you're not from New England, Vermont probably only exists as some vague land that's home to Bernie Sanders and Ben & Jerry's ice cream. For all we know, it might actually be a part of Canada. And that's because Vermonters love their state and don't want too many people finding out about the amazing quality of life here. Sure, it's the 2nd smallest state with only around 630,000 residents, but it's also the 2nd safest state, and between the stellar healthcare, amazing public schools, and excellent economic opportunity, the few people that actually do move here each year usually end up staying for the rest of their lives. And I don't blame them. I mean, you're surrounded by so much stunning nature. With tons of mountains, lakes, rivers, and forests to
my
ski,
God.
kayak, or hike in, it's no wonder Vermont is the healthiest state in the country. Or maybe that's because it has the 2nd lowest rate of uninsured residents at just 4.5%. And the main city of Burlington, which is basically the only real city in the state, is one of the most picturesque and charming towns you'll ever see. Plus, it's got a booming economy. Vermont actually had the lowest unemployment rate of any state at just 2.4% before the economy crashed, and with a median household income
Before the
over
economy
$70,000, the $256,000 median home value is pretty affordable. The only negative thing here is the temperature in the winter. No, like literally, it stays well below 0 for 3 months a year.
What? Okay,
Number
maybe
6, Colorado.
We'll see.
Yet another mountain state. Except this time, the mountains are a lot bigger. In fact, even the flat plains of Denver have an elevation almost 1,000 feet higher than the highest point in Vermont. And Colorado's the highest state in more than just one way. Besides being first to fully legalize weed, the Centennial State also has 58 14,000-foot peaks. By far the most most of any state. And all those mountains mean this is an outdoors lover's paradise. With world-class skiing, hiking, mountain biking, rock climbing, and rafting, it's no surprise Colorado has the lowest obesity rate and one of the highest qualities of life in the nation. But Colorado didn't make this list based on beauty alone. It's also an economic juggernaut. Sure, it's no longer the fastest growing economy like it had been for the past 5 years, but the Centennial State still boasted the 4th highest GDP growth rate in 2019 and the highest wage growth rate, with the median household income increasing by 6.4% to a whopping $73,000. Add in the fact that the schools are among the best in the West, and you've got one of the best states to live in for practically any lifestyle. Number 5. Minnesota. And we're back to the Midwest, far away from any real mountains, but who needs mountains when you've got views like this? If you're looking for a cheap waterfront property, Minnesota's probably your best bet, because the 11,842 lakes technically means there's even more shoreline here than in California. But that isn't even the main draw. The land of 10,000 lakes is also the 3rd safest state in the country, has excellent public education, and offers amazing economic opportunities. Between the affordable cost of living with a median home value of just $259,000 and all the great jobs at the numerous Fortune 500 companies offering a median household income of $72,000, Minnesota has the 4th lowest poverty rate at just 9.9%. And it's also one of the cleanest, greenest, and most bike-friendly states. With all the fresh air...
I always thought that. I remember seeing I think it was a picture of a city in Minnesota, and the city just looked so green. And I was just like, bro, this state looks so green. And obviously by what he's saying, it is actually the case. It just blew my mind how a city could be so sort of... the city could just look so sort of... Like, it just looked like the nature was just with the city, but it also looked like a modern city at the same time.
Nature preserves and community festivals and fairs, it makes sense that Minnesotans are so happy and healthy. Although it does get really cold in the winter.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking Northeast or regular Midwest cold. More like negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Let's see what that is to Celsius. Negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds like a lot. Fahrenheit to Celsius. Minus 40. Wait, what? Wait. Well, let's just type 0. Minus 10. Wait. Did it minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit?
Number 4.
Wait.
Rate at just 9.9%. And it's also one of the cleanest, greenest, and most bike-friendly states. With all the fresh air, nature preserves, and community festivals and fairs, it makes sense that Minnesotans are so happy and healthy. Although it does get really cold in the winter. And I'm not talking Northeast or regular Midwest cold. More like negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait, what? Are you mad? Fahrenheit to Celsius. Fahrenheit to Celsius conversion formula. This isn't doing it right. I'm confused now. Minus. I can't do degrees. Fahrenheit to Celsius. That can't be right. That cannot be right. What? Minus 40. What? That cannot be true. That cannot be true. Coldest. On Earth. What? I didn't even know the Earth could get that cold. Taking where temperatures are currently sitting at a cool. Bro, are you telling me Minnesota gets... Oh god, no, I could not handle that. What? Oh my days, I was not expecting that.
Number
I didn't even know it was possible to get that cold. Wait,
4,
what?
Utah. Utah's new to the list this year, and it's already shot all the way up to the top
that's kinda
5.
crazy.
Well, if you've been sleeping on it, it's about time to wake up because the Beehive State is having a moment. There's a reason it's been the fastest growing state since 2010. And before you say something like, oh, it's just a bunch of Mormons, boring. Sure, there is a lot of that here, but that doesn't change the fact that this state is so beautiful and has one of the nation's strongest job markets. Not to mention, there's an incredibly fun hipster scene in Salt Lake City with tons of concerts, breweries, and unique restaurants and coffee shops. Now, you're probably already excited to check out the scenery if you've seen photos of any of Utah's 5 national parks or 43 state parks, but the Beehive State is just as much a working professional's paradise as it is a nature's lover's paradise. The economy here is thriving with tremendous fiscal stability and great infrastructure. It was actually the second fastest growing economy in 2019 with a 3.8% GDP growth rate and a 3.1% job growth rate. Between all the amazing jobs in tech, mining, healthcare, energy, and finance, the median household income grew by 6% last year to a glorious $77,000. And the unemployment rate was just 2.5% before the world started tumbling down. If above average schools, excellent healthcare, extremely low crime, and one of the highest qualities of life in America sounds good to you, then it's time to move to Utah. Number 3, Massachusetts. Statistically, Massachusetts should be the #1 state pretty much every year. It blows away the competition in most categories, and it's usually among the top 3 to 5 states in pretty much every other category. It's the 4th safest state, the 2nd healthiest state, has the 2nd highest minimum wage of $12.75, and the lowest uninsured rate of just 3%, while also having some of the world's best healthcare and hospitals, and consistently ranks as having the best public schools in the nation for both K-12 and higher education. So it makes sense the Bay State has the most highly educated workforce, with over 50% of its residents possessing at least a bachelor's degree. Well, that and the fact that there are so many good paying jobs in the Boston area that require those degrees. And by good paying, I really mean the best paying. Massachusetts has the highest median household income of any state at $86,345. But statistics aside, this is also a
What?
paying.
How much?
Massachusetts has the highest median household income of any state at $86,345.
Am I getting the term median right? I know I just searched it up, yeah, but he said 86 median. Did I read it right? Is median and average? Median, mean, median, and mode are the. I remember this kinds of averages. The mean is the average you are used to, where you add up all the numbers and then divide it by the number. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of the average, but maybe it's a bit misleading because a lot of the higher earners, a lot of the people who earn more money maybe sort of make it up, but I don't know. Maybe that is just a really good way to sort of gauge it.
$5. But statistics aside, this is also a gorgeous state with the beautiful Berkshire Mountains and a stunning coastline all along Cape Cod. And there is so much history and charm to the cities and small towns here, with great museums, art, and culture. So why isn't Massachusetts #1? Well, it's expensive. Massachusetts isn't exactly the most affordable place to live, with a median home cost of $427,000 and upwards of $650,000 in the Boston area. Oh, and the traffic here is terrible. Number 2, New Hampshire. Just a short drive north brings us to our 3rd New England state on the list.
Northern states.
Speaking of which, for such a tiny region, it sure has a ton of amazing states. New Hampshire is one of the best places to raise a family, with exceptional public schools, the lowest poverty rate in the nation, and the lowest crime rate in the nation. It's no wonder the Granite State offers the 2nd highest quality of life in the US, especially since it's also the least polluted state and the #1 state for economic opportunity. The unemployment rate was just 2.4% pre-crash, and the median household income of over $81,000 makes the $295,000 median home price very affordable. And I haven't even mentioned the nature. New Hampshire is filled with incredible scenery every which way, with the White Mountains being one of the most enchanting and magical places I've ever been.
What I'm finding out from this video, and I'm finding out stuff that I've already known for like the last few months from seeing these videos, is the US in general, all states just have crazy sort of mountain scenery, nature. But I have a question. What state is known as, like, not known as, but like what state like doesn't have like the best nature? Like, what state would you say has the worst like sort of scenery, basically, and like nature? Like, it's just pretty boring in terms of that. Because I mean, I swear, even the worst US state in terms of like scenery and mountains and all that kind of stuff would still have 10 times the charm that the UK has. Because I look at the UK and it's just like, it's just boring when I see all these pictures, man. It's so
There
boring.
honestly just isn't much wrong with this place. I mean, hey, there isn't even any state income or sales tax. Now, before we get to number 1, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. If this video hits 10,000
Wait, he said that state doesn't have income or sales tax. Yo, let
likes,
me know.
I'll start a new
I'm
series
down.
on the 10 best places to live in all 50 states. And comment what you think the best state is down below. But without further ado, number 1. Washington. Once New Hampshire went number 2, were you really expecting anything else? First of all, the scenery here is just breathtaking. From the snow-capped Cascade Mountains to the gorgeous San Juan Islands to the pristine coastline to the Hoh Rainforest to the Palouse Hills and otherworldly deserts.
Oh, look at that! I ain't never seen anything like this before. That's crazy.
Forest to the Palouse.
Bro, this looks like a game. This looks like Minecraft IRL, bro. What the hell? That is unreal, and it just goes on.
Hills and otherworldly deserts, this state has literally every type of environment you could imagine. Add in amazing schools, healthcare, infrastructure, and a booming economy, and you've got the highest quality of life in America. And despite the economy already having grown so much over the past decade, the GDP here still grew by 3.8% in 2019, and wages grew by 5.7% to a median household income of nearly $80,000 a year. Washington checks all the boxes, and that's why it's the best state to live in for 2020.
What the theme I noticed with this was a lot of the colder states were the places where like all these sort of things were like more positive. It's a lot of the colder states, which is kind of interesting to me. Or colder states in the winter, should I say? Anyone watching this in quarantine wishing you could travel? God damn, I couldn't relate more to this. As a professional driver, I've travelled every state. I was blown away by New Hampshire, Vermont, and Massachusetts. Absolutely amazing people. The scenery, wow. I like how California didn't make the list. Is there like rivalry between people like from certain different states? Any who watches these pick up, and the fact that any time California's flood a state, they raise the price and everything. Why is that the case? Like, why is that the case? The info about Minnesota didn't age. Oh, it's just before, isn't it? Or was this just after the video? Seattle is great if you're rich and can ignore someone begging you for help on the side of the road while you're driving your Tesla. That's a good thing that he raises there, honestly. Almost every state on the list had a booming economy than COVID. I mean, I guess this is going to be different for 2021, but I still enjoyed this video nevertheless. And I don't know, these states look nice, but I was expecting a lot of different states. Like, a lot of these are sort of the smaller states with lower populations, as opposed to the New Yorks or the Californias, and like, you did mention Texas, to be fair, but interesting video, man, and I enjoyed this. But let me know your thoughts on this, what you think on this. Again, it's not 100% definitive. People have their own thoughts on which states are the best. Maybe the state you're from, you'll just think is the best kind of thing, because that's how people kind of are. But I enjoyed this nevertheless, and until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.